He will be sued, and I say will be because nothing has been filed yet, by at least 120 people in the next 30 days.
Today, just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
The courtroom buzzed with tension as Shah Diddy CS made his latest appearance, a stark contrast to the commanding figure he once was. The man who'd built an empire with his larger-than-life persona now appeared a shadow of his former self. Gone were the tailored suits, diamonds, and confident swagger that had once lit up red carpets. Instead, he stood clad in a khaki jumpsuit, his graying hair and noticeably thinner frame painting a picture of decline. Even for those accustomed to the drama of celebrity trials, the transformation was impossible to ignore.
Incredible. And, it brings into context our whole system of innocent until proven guilty. Why is he not being given bond? And, we could debate that all day long. Of all people that's unlikely to flee or get away, well, he's got the resources to flee, but he's so recognizable. And isn't he innocent until proven guilty? Well, yeah, but, we have to recognize there are degrees of innocent until proven guilty.
Journalists, including Elizabeth Milner, couldn't help but remark on Shah Diddy CS's astonishing transformation, with Milner noting he looks drastically thinner. Her voice a mix of surprise and pity as she described a man clearly worn down by the last few months. The lavish lifestyle that once defined him, yachts, private jets, and extravagant parties, now felt like a distant memory as he sat subdued in a federal courtroom, staring down the grim possibility of spending the rest of his life behind bars. His appearance wasn't the only change. His demeanor hinted at a man grappling with the weight of his circumstances. Though he occasionally turned to flash a forced smile at his children in the gallery, even those fleeting gestures of positivity couldn't hide his mounting despair. Beside him, his legal team, led by Mark Adnafilo and Anthony Rue, worked furiously, whispering strategies and jotting notes, their tense expressions betraying the uphill battle ahead to secure his freedom.
Concern, no judge wants to wake up and read the headlines the next day, oh, they treated this guy special and they gave him bond, and now he's gone and he fled from justice. So that's what's in the back of most judges' minds. On the other hand, we deal with cases where clients have significant funds sometimes, and sometimes where there's money, you can craft a unique solution. Years ago, it was the ankle bracelet and the ankle monitor.
This wasn't just any legal battle. It was a fight for survival. Shah Diddy CS's legal troubles snowballed after his September arrest, with charges painting a damning picture of coercion, misconduct, and orchestrated schemes that placed him at the center of a scandal so vast it seemed to expose the hidden underbelly of the entertainment industry. Despite the mounting evidence and damning testimonies, Diddy maintained his innocence, pleading not guilty to all charges, a stance some called brave and others deemed delusional. However, if he hoped for leniency, the courts offered none. His legal team's repeated attempts to secure bail failed spectacularly, with Judge Arun Submanan denying every request. Prosecutors argued that Diddy's influence and resources made him a significant risk for witness tampering, citing past allegations of intimidation as proof that his release could undermine the trial's integrity. The judge's decision was resolute. Diddy would remain behind bars until his trial commenced in May.
With all the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where, everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend and everyone. So
the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where Shah Diddy CS has been held since his arrest, is a stark departure from the opulence he once enjoyed. Notorious for its harsh conditions, the facility has long been described by former inmates as hell on earth, plagued by reports of violence, overcrowding, and substandard living conditions. For someone accustomed to silk sheets and gourmet meals, the transition to prison life has been jarring. Former inmate Michael Cohen described the grim reality. He's waking up on a steel bed with a 1/2-inch mattress, no pillow, in an 8-inch den cell. That, I can assure you, is disgusting. Diddy's struggles have been evident, particularly with the prison's bland and unappetizing food, cereal and fruit for breakfast for lunch, and meager portions of pasta or lentils for dinner. The toll of this new reality is visible in his diminished physique, with rumors swirling about the impact of the stress and conditions on his mental and physical health.
Well, Sierra, anything's possible, right? But now this judge has an even harder time, I think, because the past judge locked him up, didn't let him out. and he's still there available for trial. If the new judge lets him out on bond and something goes wrong, and this isn't the analysis that I'm proud to make, right? We shouldn't be saying, well, judges are worried about their own skin and how they look if something bad happens.
Inside the prison walls, Shah Diddy CS was still trying to assert control, or so rumors suggested, with prosecutors alleging that he had attempted to contact witnesses and victims connected to the case from behind bars, a claim his legal team vehemently denied. These accusations only strengthened the court's resolve to keep him in detention, painting a troubling picture of a man desperate to maintain his grip on a crumbling empire. In court, Diddy embodied a stark contrast. On the surface, he appeared composed, occasionally flashing smiles at his children, mouthing words of encouragement to his son, and projecting a calm, public demeanor. Yet, in quieter moments, his exhaustion and anxiety seeped through. His slumped posture and fidgeting hands betrayed the pressure he was under. These fleeting glimpses of vulnerability served as a sobering reminder that even the most powerful are not immune to the crushing weight of their circumstances.
Try everything. They're going to try to transfer him. They're going to try to get him out. In a normal case where it's a high-profile person or a well-funded person, the prosecution and the judge is a little bit more concerned about wrongful prosecution, because people that are mad that they're being arrested for a crime they didn't commit can turn around and file for malicious prosecution.
In many ways, Shah Diddy CS's presence in court was as much about symbolism as it was about his defense. His legal team, keenly aware of the optics, fought tirelessly to ensure he could appear without shackles, arguing that such restraints could unfairly bias jurors and influence public perception. The judge ultimately agreed, granting the request, but the larger battle was far from over. With each hearing, the stakes seemed to rise. The tension in the room became almost tangible. Outside the courtroom, the spectacle continued to unfold as media outlets dissected every aspect of the case, from his legal team's strategies to his subtle interactions with family members during hearings. Public opinion remained sharply divided. Some viewed Diddy as a man wrongfully accused, a scapegoat in an industry rife with similar scandals, while others saw him as a symbol of the unchecked power and privilege of celebrity culture. Social media became a battleground, with heated debates and trending hashtags ensuring his name remained in the spotlight, for all the wrong reasons.
They can't move in the general population, and would he be at risk? Sure, he'd be at risk. There's so many people that have nothing to lose, right? They're going to be in jail the rest of their life. They've got nothing to, they want their 15 minutes of fame. They were friends with Diddy, or they hurt Diddy, or they Diddy, or they did. I mean, there's so many, people in jail that this would be their moment. You can't put them there. Plus,
Intro. For all the headlines in courtroom drama, one thing was undeniable. Shah Diddy CS's fall from grace was unfolding in real time, as gripping as it was tragic. The man once celebrated as a pioneer in music and business, who had built an empire on charisma and ambition, was now fighting to salvage what little remained of his reputation. As allegations mounted and evidence accumulated, the question lingered on everyone's mind. How much longer could he hold on? When the courtroom session ended and Diddy was escorted back to his cell, the whispers only grew louder. Rumors of new lawsuits on the horizon and more individuals preparing to come forward with stories that could further dismantle his legacy. His visibly weary legal team huddled together, strategizing their next move, but the cracks in Diddy's armor were becoming impossible to ignore. The battle was far from over, but his ability to endure seemed increasingly uncertain.
Now, to the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment, as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
What made Shah Diddy CS's situation even more precarious was the sheer scale of the allegations against him. This wasn't just one accusation or a single lawsuit. It was an avalanche. Victims, witnesses, and insiders were coming forward with stories that painted a damning portrait of a man who had allegedly operated with impunity for decades. While his attorneys worked tirelessly to dismantle the prosecution's case, the court of public opinion had already begun to render its verdict. In this context, Diddy's legal saga evolved from a personal battle into a broader commentary on accountability and power. His story was no longer just about one man. It reflected an industry, a culture, and a society struggling with the consequences of allowing fame and wealth to shield individuals from scrutiny for far too long. As the courtroom drama unfolded, it became evident that Diddy's fight for freedom was also a fight for something far larger. his legacy.
This is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
As the trial loomed, the world watched with bated breath, eager to see what new revelations would emerge. The narrative was far from over, and the next chapter promised to be even more explosive. Would more victims come forward? Could Diddy's legal team turn the tide in his favor? Or was this the beginning of the end for one of the most iconic figures in modern music history? The magnitude of the allegations against Sha Diddy CS was unlike anything the entertainment world had seen in decades. The sheer number of accusations, the variety of claims, and the high-profile nature of the case created a whirlwind of scrutiny that not only engulfed Diddy, but also cast a shadow over the entire music industry. With each passing week, more voices emerged, adding weight to the case against him. It was no longer just about whether Diddy was innocent or guilty. It was about the far-reaching ripple effect this scandal was having across the industry and beyond.
I think it's to be expected, just the shock of this and the questions about what is ahead of us. I mean, how long is he going to be in custody? Is this an R. Kelly situation? Is he going to not get out for a number of years? Is he going to end up serving a long-term prison sentence from this? Or does he have a chance of beating these charges at a trial that could come, within the next 2 years?
The allegations against Sha Diddy CS, ranging from coercion to elaborate conspiracies, have painted a chilling picture of a man who allegedly used his power, wealth, and influence to operate in ways many are calling unimaginable. What makes this case even more damning is not just the accusations themselves, but the sheer scale of the situation. Insiders claim that more than 100 individuals have come forward with stories, some dating back decades, others as recent as just a few years ago. While these accounts vary, they all point to a troubling pattern of behavior, leaving many to wonder how such actions could have gone unchecked for so long. One of the most shocking aspects of these allegations is the level of detail provided by those speaking out. Former associates, employees, and even people who were once close to Diddy have come forward with stories that range from troubling to horrifying. Some of these individuals even have ties to Diddy's inner circle, making their claims harder to dismiss. Despite Diddy's legal team working tirelessly to discredit these accounts, the sheer volume of allegations has made it increasingly difficult to ignore the mounting evidence. As David Brennan notes, this tragic parable serves as a stark reminder that we are witnessing not just a spectacular fall from grace, but the unraveling of an empire.
It sounded crazy, like I said before. They said that 2,300 people reached out to the law firm, and out of the 2,300 people, I guess they decided to go with just a little over 100, which seems like it's they just put out the number and everybody's calling to see if they can get a check.
It's insane. It's insane. Now, again, he did say that nothing has been filed yet because he says he wants to make sure that they do their due diligence and get this right.
Adding fuel to the fire are the lawsuits that have been stacking up since late 2023. It all started with the bombshell lawsuit filed by Diddy's former partner, Cassie Ventura, in November. Her claims, which were settled within 24 hours, opened the floodgates for others to come forward. While Diddy's team has maintained that the quick settlement was not an admission of guilt, critics argue that the rapid resolution only raises more questions. Why settle so quickly if there's nothing to hide? Cassie's case became the catalyst for a wave of legal action, with several individuals filing lawsuits in the weeks and months that followed. One of the most notable cases involves Joy Dickerson Neal, who accused Diddy of misconduct dating back to the early 1990s. Her story, which includes allegations of being taken advantage of and recorded without her knowledge, has drawn significant attention. Though Diddy's representatives have dismissed her claims as fabricated and a blatant attempt to profit, the case has nonetheless contributed to the growing list of allegations that paint a troubling picture of his past. Adding to the intrigue is an anonymous Jane Doe whose lawsuit outlines incidents allegedly involving Diddy and other high-profile individuals. Her claims, which involve orchestrated schemes and elaborate setups, have only intensified the public's desire to uncover the truth.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
What's even more shocking is the involvement of Diddy's associates in these allegations. Court documents and insider accounts suggest that several of Diddy's closest confidants may have enabled or even participated in some of the troubling incidents. Harve Pierre, the former president of Bad Boy Entertainment, has been named in at least one lawsuit, accused of playing a direct role in facilitating some of the alleged actions. While Pierre has remained silent about the accusations, his inclusion in the lawsuits has raised questions about the true extent of the scandal. Was this the work of one man acting alone, or was there a network of individuals complicit in covering up these activities? The accusations don't stop with Diddy's associates. Even his business operations have come under scrutiny. Former employees of Bad Boy Entertainment have come forward describing a toxic work environment where inappropriate behavior was not only tolerated but reportedly encouraged. These accounts have sparked a wider conversation about accountability in the music industry, with many questioning how such behavior could go unchecked for so long. Critics argue that the entertainment world has long been governed by a culture of silence, where powerful individuals are rarely held accountable for their actions. Diddy's case, they argue, is a prime example of what happens when this culture is allowed to fester unchecked.
This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
Perhaps the most troubling aspect of this entire saga is the alleged involvement of individuals who claim they were targeted or exploited. Many of these individuals, some of whom were aspiring musicians or models, have described feeling powerless against the weight of Diddy's influence. According to their accounts, they were lured in with promises of career opportunities, only to find themselves trapped in situations they couldn't escape. These stories have struck a deep chord with the public, sparking outrage and calls for stronger protections for vulnerable individuals in the industry. The media has played a significant role in amplifying these voices, with outlets like CNN, Reuters, and the New York Times dedicating extensive coverage to the case. Courtroom sketches of Diddy sitting alongside his legal team have become symbols of his fall from grace. While interviews with alleged victims have humanized the narrative, journalists like Elizabeth Milner have been at the forefront of covering the case, providing detailed accounts of courtroom proceedings and insider scoops that have kept the public captivated. Milner, who attended several pre-trial hearings, described the atmosphere as tense, with every word spoken in court carrying the weight of everything at stake.
Not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
No one wants him mentioned.
Meanwhile, the entertainment industry has been forced to grapple with the fallout. Diddy's once sterling reputation as a music mogul and entrepreneur has been shattered, with brands and business partners distancing themselves in droves. Revolt, the television network he co-founded, announced in November 2023 that Diddy had stepped down as chairman. While his representatives described the move as temporary, insiders suggest it was a strategic decision to minimize damage to the brand. Other ventures, including his fashion and liquor partnerships, have also suffered, with some companies reportedly severing ties altogether. Even Diddy's own family hasn't been spared from the spotlight. His children, who have remained supportive throughout the ordeal, have attended several court hearings, offering silent encouragement from the gallery. However, their presence has also raised questions about how the scandal is impacting them personally. Observers noted a poignant moment when Diddy mouthed the words, "You okay?" to one of his sons during a recent hearing, underscoring the toll this case is taking on his family. Critics argue that while Diddy's actions are at the center of the scandal, the ripple effects are being felt by everyone close to him.
So yesterday, Monday, Diddy celebrated his 55th birthday, but this year was a lot different. It was no Diddy parties. It was none of that. None of that stuff. Well, happily so, I guess, right now. But anyway, so this is his first birthday behind bars.
As the lawsuits continue to pile up and the trial date draws closer, the question on everyone's mind is simple. How will this all end? Diddy's legal team has vowed to fight the accusations with everything they've got, insisting that the truth will eventually come to light. However, with each new allegation, the odds seem to stack higher against him. The court of public opinion, meanwhile, has already begun to render its verdict, with many believing that Diddy's downfall has inevitable. Social media is flooded with commentary, hashtags, and debates as people from all walks of life weigh in on the case. For some, it's a moment of reckoning for a man who once seemed untouchable. For others, it's a sobering reminder of the darker side of fame and power. But amid all the outrage, there's also a sense of curiosity about what else might emerge. Insiders suggest that the lawsuits filed so far are just the tip of the iceberg, with more individuals reportedly preparing to come forward. If true, this could become one of the largest scandals in music history, with far-reaching implications for the industry as a whole. His lawsuits. The question is not just whether Diddy will be held accountable, but whether the industry will finally confront the systemic issues that allowed this alleged behavior to go unchecked for so long.
It's a question of that, but when you read through the indictment, it's pretty clear who could be indicted as a co-conspirator. Right now, there are people in the indictment who would be considered unnamed co-conspirators, but clearly have played a role in this conspiracy. And I think prosecutors have some big leverage on them because they're hoping that they testify against Diddy as prosecution witnesses.
And then there's the matter of Diddy's legacy. For decades, he was celebrated as a pioneer and trailblazer, redefining what it meant to be a music mogul. His influence extended far beyond the charts, shaping fashion, culture, and even politics. But now, that legacy is at risk of being overshadowed by scandal. Whether he's ultimately found guilty or not, the damage to his reputation may be irreversible. For someone who built an empire on his name, the loss of its value could be the greatest punishment of all. As the world watches this saga unfold, one thing is clear: this story is far from over. With the trial set to begin in May 2025, the months ahead promise more revelations, drama, and questions about the man who once seemed unstoppable. Will Diddy's legal team manage to turn the tide, or will the weight of the allegations finally bring him down? And what will this case mean for the future of accountability in the entertainment industry? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more intriguing celebrity stories. Until next time,